People always ask me how I do it all. The kids, work, my comic. So today I'm going to show you my 3-step process for how I build a life that supports my family, nurtures my kids, and nurtures my soul. Are you ready? Here we go. I know I said 3-step process, but if you're in a hurry, it really can be boiled down to one. How do I do it all? I don't. Let that sink in. Have you ever heard you can have it all, you just can't have it all at once? Well, I don't really know if I believe that. I mean, of course it depends on things that you want. I mean, I know there are things that I want that I'll have to wait for, but most of those things are material things. They're not the important things in life. Time with my kids, time with my husband, time to work on comics. Those stuff I don't compromise on. Sometimes I do have to compromise on things that are less important to me. Maybe I stay up late one night to make comics, so I sleep in the next morning. And I leave the breakfast dishes in the sink when I go to work. That's right. My house isn't always, or really ever, immaculate. But that's not one of my priorities. Go ahead and nominate me for the Bad Mommy Award. But last time I checked, having a clean kitchen has nothing to do with raising your kids. My husband taught me this lesson long before he was my husband. He's a gamer and spends a lot of his downtime at his computer. He has a schedule of times each week that he and his friends get together to play. And he also has things that he has to do in-game to prepare for that raid. He has a podcast and he streams gameplay. It's a big part of his life, and he loves it. He loves sharing it with the world. It's his thing. When we got together, my daughter was 7. I was neck deep in laundry and lunches and homework and meal prep. It was easy to resent all that time that he was spending sitting around doing nothing. I spent 3 years quietly resenting him for this. He was a 27-year-old bachelor when we got together. He came into a life that was already in process. The home and the kids were already there, and I had a pretty good rhythm going. He pitched in around the apartment and picked up after himself. He helped with homework and picked up my daughter from school, but only if it didn't conflict with what was already on his schedule. Now, if you don't know much about gaming, there's a stereotype that says it's a pretty solitary pursuit, but my husband's on a raid team and he has a specialized role that he plays, as do all the other players. You literally can't play the game unless everyone shows up on time and is ready to go. He honors his in-game commitments to his friends and to himself, not because they're more important than me and my daughter, but because they're more important than having a clean apartment. He wasn't leaving the work for me necessarily, he was just leaving it. Then I had a thought that would literally change my life. It's easy to have a thing when you're immune to mom guilt. Immune to mom guilt. Mom guilt isn't even a word, by the way. I had to go to the Urban Dictionary to get a definition, and here it is. Mom guilt is the guilt a mother feels when she doesn't spend 100% of her time with her kids. Now, I bet you can relate to that, right? I mean, hands up if you can. But this is the thing. Last time I checked, kids don't want to spend 100% of their time with their mom. And most schools of parenting teach that this really isn't great for the development of the kid either. If a mom does everything for them, they never learn how to do it for themselves, and it's detrimental to some of the social skills they need to develop. In fact, if your kid wants to spend 100% of his time with you, you're probably a little worried about it. Now, I know that kids need to be able to do things on their own, and we want our kids to be curious and confident little citizens, right? Obviously, the needs of a child vary by age, but I think you can agree that most kids benefit from spending time on their own or with someone other than mom. That's step 1. We've basically just proven that mom guilt is BS, and now we can move past it. So step 2 was I enrolled in a local art class. I used to kind of like art. I thought it would be fun to hang out with other artists and jam for an hour or so every week. Mondays were good for my family, so I checked what classes were offered on Mondays, and I saw there was one about making comics. Sweet. I kind of like comics, and it sounded like fun. I registered for the class, and suddenly I was on the schedule. Needless to say, I got really into making comics, and I was invited to contribute to a website that runs a new comic every day. Every artist has one day a week that they need to contribute, so 1 page a week was pretty manageable. And I feel like it's important to point out that I wasn't invited to do this because I was a good artist. I was invited because I was consistent at producing pages. The instructor knew that I could get the work done. So you don't have to be super talented at something to have it be your thing. You don't even have to really be passionate about it, but you just have to enjoy doing it. So even if you can't think of that one thing that will really light you up and fuel your soul, my advice is to just pick something. You can always change your mind, but you might find that you like it more than you expected. The only real problem with the Monday class was that it was near where I worked, which is an hour away from where I lived. So by the time I got home, it would be pretty late, far too late to get involved with doing housework. I had to develop a system that would allow me to get everything done that needed to get done, but still have time for class on Mondays. So yeah, it required packing a lot more stuff into the other days of the week, but it was totally worth it. It wasn't long before the strangest thing happened. I started to realize that I was less stressed out than I was before. And how could that even be? Then it hit me. It was the system. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you forgot something? Last week? Yesterday? An hour ago? It happens all the time, right? Now, when was the last time you forgot to get dressed in the morning? You just woke up, took a shower, grabbed some coffee, and walked out to your car stark naked. Probably never, right? Because getting dressed in the morning is part of your routine. You don't have to remember to do it, you just do it automatically without even thinking about it, which means you don't have to plan it, stress over it, or worry that you're going to forget it altogether. And that's what was happening to me. I had a system to take care of all of my responsibilities around the house, so it was all becoming more routine. I didn't have to stress or worry that things were going to get forgotten. Plus, since I was feeling less overwhelmed, I could be more present in the little moments I had with my daughter. I wasn't sitting there racking my brain, sure I was forgetting something. Developing a system to take care of the shit around the house was a game changer for me. Not only did it feel easier to get everything done, but since it was done, I didn't have to worry about remembering not to feel guilty about taking time for myself. And I firmly believe that you should never feel guilty about taking time for yourself. It's necessary and you are all totally worth it. But there's going to be that one time that something falls through the cracks, or somebody makes a shitty comment, or we see some other mom who's doing it so much better than we are. It doesn't take much for us to invite the demon mom guilt back into our life. We just have to keep telling ourselves that it's total BS so we can get back to living our best life for ourselves and our family. So, to recap, the 3 steps to having it all is to abandon mom guilt, just pick something to do, and then develop a system to get all of the other stuff done. Thanks for watching. I hope you got a lot out of this little mini training, but if you wanted to dive into this more with me, I've developed a program that will help you build a system that works for you so that you can reclaim your day. I'm launching a beta version at a huge discount, plus some valuable bonuses, but only until Saturday, September 29th, 2018. After that, the price will go up, so don't wait. Click on the link in the description below if you want to learn more, and then you can register. I hope to see you there.